All right, so for more insight now, we want to turn to a local expert. We welcome Ahmed Banafa to the 9. He's a professor at San Jose State and cybersecurity expert. Good morning, Ahmed. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Ahmed, I've been wondering, have you been watching the Senate hearing that's happening right now?
Yes, absolutely. I'm watching it, and it's really interesting.
So what stands out to you right now in that Senate hearing?
It's the total agreement about having some kind of agency like FTC and FCC to monitor AI products and make sure that they are not in the market without some kind of a product license. That is really very interesting to see both sides of the issue.
Yeah, and what you're referring to is one of the ideas that Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, he thinks that the U.S. should start regulating it similar to the way the U.S. started regulating the nuclear industry. The International Atomic Energy Agency kind of sets the global rules, and he thinks the U.S. should create that type of agency to oversee AI. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. The whole thing is built on 3 elements that anybody who is in this field understand, which is something called SSP, which is security, safety, and privacy. Once you guarantee these things through some kind of regulation, which has to be done with cooperation, with the private sector, then it's going to be very easy, because the government needs somebody to explain to them the consequences, the risk of the AI, so they can regulate based on that.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit about the consequences here. We've heard about the benefits. People are using ChatGPT right now, but what is this fear that is spreading? I know we've heard about the job loss, but what is this thing that AI could get out of control? What is that part of things that's got everyone so concerned and pushing us to talk about regulation for AI?
It's a psychological impact. For example, the addiction. There was a movie called Her. That movie shows that somebody fell in love with some kind of a system there. Number 2 is beside the addiction is there's a story about somebody who lost his life because he was in a chat with ChatGPT, convincing him to kill himself. And the other thing is the dark side of using AI. For example, somebody leaves the work and then ask the ChatGPT to have an email to convince somebody in the network of that company to click on a link so it can inject the virus there. There's so many things that we take it for granted. Now the AI will make it so easy and dark and use it against human.
We were just talked a moment ago about the Senate subcommittee hearing. I think we have a live look there, and I want to show it to folks as we continue to talk here, Ahmed. But you said something earlier, safety, security, and privacy. You're saying those could be the 3 benchmarks for regulating AI. You're saying if we stuck to those, the rules could string from those three topics.
That is correct, because when you talk about safety, you're talking about safety meaning, back to the letter that's signed so far by 27,000 plus people, including Elon Musk.
Yeah, you signed it as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I signed that paper because that at least will bring the attention. What we are seeing today is actually the two demand out of 3 demands that we requested. Number 1 is to pause for 6 months, which is it's not going to happen. But the other demands about having an outside agency to to monitor the development of AI and also have the government involved. So we're seeing the 2 out of 3, which is an advancement at this stage.
Ahmed, we've seen these committee hearings in Congress before, and we've had the CEO of these companies testify. But we've also seen Congress have a tough time grasping some of the details of this. As you're watching the subcommittee hearing today with Sam Altman, are members of Congress able to grasp the impact, as far as you can tell, with the questions that they're asking about the future of AI?
Not all of them. Some of them need to be, to simplify and go straight to the point and give some examples. Now, here's the issue just the big picture here. We are dealing with 3 levels of AI, which is the narrow AI, the general AI, and the super AI. The narrow one, when the human is smarter than the AI. The general, which is what we have now, in the human and the AI, the same intelligence. The super, which is in the future, when the AI is smarter than the human. Now, the key thing here, just to understand why we are surprised by this, is this general AI, which is the ChatGPT and generative AI, supposed to happen in 2040. So we are 20 years early. I am worried in my position about, are we approaching the 3rd level, the super AI? That is the concern more than what we have now.
But Ahmed, if we hit that super AI, what does that really mean for the rest of us?
Well, hopefully we're not going to hit it until we understand what's going on. There is something called kill switch. There is a lot of safeguards that will help us. If you listen to the, to the hearing now, you're going to see that there is sometimes they mention something about we don't want to have the AI to generate another AI. It's basically they're talking about the super, AI.
Because you won't be able to kill it if it does generate another AI.
Absolutely, right. And the sci-fi movies will be true at this stage. I'm not talking about Skynet. I'm talking about worse than Skynet.
Wow. That's interesting. So here's the thing. We've been talking about issues of regulating certain aspects of technology, data privacy, social media. Congress is still yet to act. If we aren't seeing those things addressed, I mean, can we expect to see AI addressed in your expert opinion here?
It's a matter of taking the first step. Now, the agreement is almost there about this is not good if it goes without control. And one of the driving force for this one is the jobs and taking the jobs and killing many of those jobs we are seeing now. It's about 25% of the job in the United States will be gone if the AI take control. Number one, if you apply it in one sector of the technology, it's easy for you to replicate it into other. And I remember one sentence or one statement by one of the senators talking about, the privacy. We don't have a federal privacy act or policy in the United States. There's one in Europe, which is GDPR. We need to think about this because that can branch into the other part, which is the security and the and the safety of the products.
The reason why that hasn't happened yet, I don't know. That's another discussion to go into at some point. Banafa from San Jose State, it's been really insightful talking to you. This is an interesting subcommittee hearing that's happening in Congress right now, one that we'll all be watching. And you're the expert, and you're saying there needs to be regulation, so we probably should listen to you on this one, and hopefully Congress does too. We thank you so much for joining us this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Still to come on Mornings on Tuesday.